think while we're here. Or if we have time in the middle, can we hook up this sound? I don't need it for the beginning, just the middle.
You don't want it right now?
Huh? Yeah. Should have happened. I'm gonna make it happen. Okay. Welcome everyone. So exciting to see everybody here on a Thursday, perfect Thursday evening. We're doing things slightly different. If you've not been here before, which we can debate whether you have or haven't, this particular version of you. If you've not been here before, we're studying a course on logic and debating, not just because we're doing it for a very good reason. So, and I need you to check your reason. So before we go anywhere, let's just get into a nice, comfortable, seated position. Javier, ¿empezó esto o no?
Empezó, sí.
Sí. Vale. ¿Quieres ponerlo acá? Adelante. Que se escuche. Perfecto. Gracias. Okay, visible, good? Yeah? Okay. Okay, so I want to welcome the deepest part of you to the class. I'm really not interested in the other part for now. Yeah, we can talk to that other part in the break. And the boring part of you, not interested. Okay, and my boring part of me, I'm not interested for that one to talk today either. Okay, tonight is a significantly strong class, so we're bound to have obstacles in the form of distractions, smells, farting, silly jokes that can keep us away from focusing on the reality. So I'm going to invite the core part of you to attend tonight. And the shell of you, the one that keeps changing, that one we can put aside for a little while, okay? So let's go and find that one. Let's go meditate as close as you can to the rawest, most perfect part of you. And we'll just lead through the preliminaries, a 7-step practice. If you've done this before, do it with all your flair. If you've not done this before, just listen to the words, and whatever comes up, don't fight it, don't reject it, don't push it, don't react to it, just grow it. Yep. So take a comfortably seated position. It means your back is straight. See if you can connect yourself to the earth So imagine a light rod going just in front of your spine, connecting you to the core of the earth and out into outer space, connecting you to the entire universe from the crown of your head, keeping your back naturally straight. Imagine light and energy flowing there, prana. Your hands comfortable, your chest slightly open. Scan your body for any tension and release it, especially your base, your legs, your thighs, your feet. Tucking your tummy just a tiny bit, not a lot, just enough to feel a sensation. That'll keep your lower back straight. And with a natural breath, just fill those lungs up and imagine every part of you inside becomes translucent. And on the exhale, any obstructions leave you. They go into the core of the earth and burn up. Have 3 breaths like that. Last scan for tension around your neck and face. Just make sure your eyes are slightly smiling. You're looking for alert relaxation, engaged relaxation. See if you can bring your attention to your breath, the sensation of air entering and exiting your nostril, the tip of your nostril, as fine as you can get. All you have to do is just bring your awareness there. See if you can bring your attention now to the area around your heart, about an inch in front of your spine, what we call the mind. See if you can be aware of your sensations in that region. In particular, the sensation that is aware and knowing. And see if from that place you can generate in front of you the most ultimate teacher in front of you, seated facing you. You can make them of anything you like. You can make them as big or as little as you like. Imagine the space around you both. You can imagine that to be the entire universe, or in a sacred place, or in this room. It makes no difference. Just let your mind generate in front of you a perfect teacher without any fault. See if you can look at glimpses of what they appear to you like, physically made of light, however you imagine them. See if you can sense a presence in front of you. So first observe what they look like to you. You can allow your eyes to move along their border, their edges. See if you can add some sensations like a beautiful scent coming from them. See if you can look closely at their eyes looking at you with a kind of all-encompassing love that lets you surrender. And now imagine their mind, the way they perceive everything perfectly, exactly as it is. Imbued with a kind of bliss that is untouchable. So imagine for a second how they perceive their world, how they perceive themselves, with perfect wisdom and with complete love and bliss. And then imagine them perceiving you in the same way. And I invite you to imagine that when you're seeing them perceive you that way, that it burns away any obstacle in your mind that could ever stop you from becoming perfect. And that it builds on every goodness inside of you that gets you to a state of nirvana. So just spend a minute or so feeling and perceiving how they see you as it cleans obstacles in you and grows your virtue. Now I'd like you to imagine 3 beams of light coming from them, one between their brow, one at their throat, and one at their heart, aimed directly at the same places on you. And in that crystal light is every bit of their knowledge, their wisdom, their compassion, and their bliss. And see if you can sense what it would feel like for you to perceive yourself whole, at ease, confident, in bliss, and in a perfect reality always. And then I'd like you to imagine that every other being in this room is perceiving the same thing, their own perfection, their own teacher. completely filled with bliss and wisdom. You perceive them as perfect, complete. And then you imagine all those beams of light in everybody's heart expanding across this city, this country, this continent, until it covers every surface of this planet, touching every sentient being on land, in the oceans, in the dirt, in the sky. The light giving them the opportunity for perfection. Until you imagine the entire planet glowing with beings that are whole. Simultaneously in bliss and in wisdom. And gradually bring your light back to the core of your heart. Imagine the teacher in front of you facing the same direction you're facing, shrinking down until they sit at the crown of your head, getting smaller until they're the size of a quarter. Keep them there for the duration. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniyatayani Sangye Shudam Zogi Jotnanga Ajanchu Vardu Dakni Japsushi Daki Chinyengi Pesonanki Drola Benjir Sangye Tripasho Sangye Chidam Zoki Choknanga Ajanchu Vardu Dakni Gyapsuchi Daki Chinyengi Pesonanki Drola Benjir Sangye Tripasho Sangye Chidam Zoki Choknanda Janchu Vardu Dakni Gyatsuchi Daki Chinyengi Pesonanki Drola Benjir Sangye Tripasho. Okay, so try and keep refuge in your mind, which means that you look for the emptiness in everything. That whatever goodness or negativity or neutrality you're in your mind or in your reality, that hasn't got that nature from its own side, that comes from something in you, and therefore it can transform into the most perfect thing. So think of the emptiness of everything, the way you're perceiving, the way you're being, the way you're thinking, the way you're feeling, the way you think you are. Try and keep that as much as you can through the class. So we did 2 classes, sort of rushed. One was why we should study reasoning. Who was there here for that class? So you are experts at that. And the other one was an outline of all existing things. Who was there for that? Okay, good. You're an expert at that too. So I'm going to ask you to do the traditional 15-minute review / quizzes. So those of you who were here, grab the people that weren't here. It's your turn to teach. So everybody's name should go on this piece of paper and they should be returned correctly 15 minutes from now. And you're having discussions. So who's got the cheat sheet, by the way? You've got Paul with the cheat sheet, Javier with the cheat sheet. Anyone else got a cheat sheet? Cliff, you got the answer?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Yeah, kind of do. Okay, Cliff can be the boss of one, too. And then, Cliff, I'm going to review the all existing things, and I loved your text back, so maybe you can share that when we get to it. Yeah. So at 1:15, you should all be done. Whether you've been here or not, you should have a piece of paper with your name on it, and all the answers must be correct, or you get put in the closet. That's not true.
Yeah, there's some in there. Actually, can you bring
Unless you like being in the closet.
There's probably more than one.
Hey, what's your name?
Brandon.
Brandon, pleasure. Have you met?
No, I don't.
No?
He just wandered in today.
You did?
And
You've landed to the place. Out of all the 12 classes that we do in this course is course 13, right? So we've been doing this 5 years. You've landed to the one that's got the deepest meaning. It's going to give you the biggest headache. But no, seriously, it should explode your brain. So hang out next to someone that's got a cheat sheet. His name is Paul. Yeah.
Brandon.
Welcome. So that's a nice sign that you should come into mine. Is that a pause?
It's a pause.
Okay. If you do this to me, I can unpause.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, good. There are pens by Glenn.
Yeah.
Everybody, please join a group.
Steve, can you pass it?
Pete, can you help that crowd behind you? Is that possible?
Sure.
Be nice.
Oh, wait.
Huh? You want the cheat sheets?
I can get the cheat sheets right here.
I thought they were the same. There's class 1 and class 2 quizzes.
Yeah, can you go spread them out?
They have been, but I think,
Can you go check that everyone's got one?
I don't think everyone has both.
That's okay, so just make sure, let's say if there's 3 of you and there's only 2 sheets of paper, that you both have 1 and 2, and you just put both your names on one of them. You know what I mean?
I have 2 lights on.
You can, yeah, for this one. Brandon?
Your last name is Warren.
Brandon, can you turn those lights up? No, the other ones. Yeah. That's great. More. Just so they can see
One of the
it.
days, Steve and
Bandamla, what's your name? Hector.
Who wants to be down
Means
south?
brand. Not brand.
Saying who wants to be down
Bloody
south?
Americans. Brand.
What number are you? No, yeah, he's got class 2.
Okay, they're gonna
You've got 2.
You're doing 1 and 2, so make sure everyone has 2 pieces of paper. Yeah? And if it's a small group, just put everybody's name on the one group. Can you walk around and tell everybody?
Okay, so
Brandon, this will give you a nice intro, brain intro. See how good they are at explaining.
Okay, true theory. Okay, so I know there's 18, 25 to 19 is the second guy.
Good.
And it's something to do with the key to start the engine.
Wow, very cool.
The first book is something about like, I don't know.
I do remember it, but
Oh, very nice. So you show us my chapter
Derek Shoe.
oh,
Bingo. Write that down, the key. That's the first guy. Something about yay. Logical reason. Something with the art of reason. Hi. Put down his name, please. Yeah, his name.
You gotta look it up.
They come in here about.
Look it up?
Blah blah something.
Oh yeah, we have the thing.
Something.
I can look it up.
Yeah.
I think I've got it.
He's the tutor of the.
I don't have the cheat sheet, but I got
His
something.
Holiness. Yeah, you have it.
No, the second
Good.
one. The key to the engine. The key to the engine. Sorry, the key to the machine or engine of war.
That's it. The one before.
Two books that we're using as a source classical Indian treatise, which forms the basis for the Buddhist art of reasoning. We got two in here. 1825, 1900. Yeah. Right?
Stated negative.
Read the question. Give the principles of that Monastery to be used for formal logic.
Yeah, it's hard to rush. Even if you read it, it's something that it's hard to rush.
Oh, classical. Give the sense of classical Indian treatise that one, which forms the basis for the Buddhist art of reasoning and perceptual theory. Also, it's often okay. That's the one. This one is the power of something we have to look up, and that's the key to the engine of
right.
reasoning.
And who wrote that?
If you have people in your group that haven't been here, your job is to teach them.
Okay.
What? I didn't do it.
You read it now, right?
I didn't even read it. It's unread. But I can do it after class.
Cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I need for tomorrow.
I can do it after class. Or
Yeah, don't worry about it. You can do it after class. Or if you can email me or something.
before I leave this seat, can you remind me? Because I've got a template. I can just put your name on it, change a few things, and send it to you from here. Yeah, cool. That way I don't forget. I apologize.
I know you're busy.
I am busy, but there's no excuse. Promise is broken.
I know that's not the excuse.
No.
It's okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
That's it. Stop right there.
Okay. Quizzes. Answer key. Want the answer key? Okay, so we're gonna choose.
Wait, before we do, we are looking for the second key in negative reason why we should study the Buddhist art of reasoning. Like, the quotation from Lord
Protection of the.
So the negative reason was like,
Yeah, don't judge others. Unless you have a mind like mine, you cannot judge others.
Unless you're me or someone like me.
Yeah, unless you're me or someone like me.
Yeah, that's good. But you get the meaning.
Yeah. Mind like mine is that way. Yeah, that's good.
Or anything kids like.
Fun for you?
Yes.
Are you? Are you sure?
Not.
You should look it up on your own.
What's another way of
Machine was
expressing
like,
that? In a practical sense.
And I
It
remember
just means
reading
that your mind is not so out of it. Yeah, so your mind is not so out of it. And that's fair enough to understand, right? So you're like, okay, so I'm not enraged, or I'm not depressed, or I'm like deeply depressed. I'm leaving you in shock. Be quiet.
And it ends up, yeah, so I remember that, but Jampa, so
This is the Buddhist.
You sound quiet. Oh.
1901 is
Can you
when my
turn it-
grandfather was
can you
born.
turn it
1901, you'll remember, it was the first year of that century. So he lived to be 76 years old, not 75. So 25, 22. That's the principal monastic textbook we use in our study of Buddhism. Principal monastic. This one is the one you got before.
How are you? Good. I think someone's in every one of those. Let's grab another one. Someone's there.
Do the Sanskrit English name.
Pramana Vartika.
You got what?
Pramana Vartika.
Pramana, which means truth or breath. Oh, Pramana is perception, and Vartika is virtues are valid, or is it
I just was
different?
doing the homework right before this.
Oh, cool.
Pramana means
Oh, yeah? And what is Vartika?
Is
I think it just means like
The common? What is Samananda?
So,
Oh, so Dharma Kirti.
You can't sit with us.
Yes, you can.
yes,
We have
So the guy's name is Dharma Kirti. He's 650. So he is around. He's around 100 years before.
but it's not permanent. Okay.
So wait, 650.
650, yeah. Like the Shantideva for 750.
I still have to test
Right?
No, I thought he was 650 also. I don't know.
Let's not worry about it. Just remember 650. It's a quiz. Quiz. We get to do 4. So you jumped in on question 1 and 2.
So, he presented.
Okay, so
What makes something valid is you have to.
Pramana Vartika
Wait,
Samananda.
give the definition of a reason.
Oh, anything you give as a reason. Right, that would be that. What's the definition of a reason?
Yes, it's making a lot of sense. I just don't know the
That's it?
That's it.
Well, that's easy. Okay, quiz them.
Alright, so this is class 2 quiz. Give the definition of an existing thing in Buddhist
Okay,
logic.
they're more than, I think it's anything that's functional.
There's some words that we use a lot that you get.
No,
Later,
no,
there's
give the definition of an existing thing.
There's a trick.
It's not a changing in an identity. This is
Existing thing.
it's not.
Because like,
Remember the definition was like really basic idea actually.
what's functioning? Is
Something
that
like something that can be perceived
No, I think functioning is for the later one. I think perceive. I don't know.
Yeah, but they say in the
Something that is-
Because can you perceive a thought? Can you perceive a
mental,
thought? It has to be something perceived as in,
But they say to me like something like
hear it,
force,
smell it,
person,
feel it. I don't know if functioning is part of this.
It doesn't have to be functioning.
We're in the logic.
When the logic is
No, it's not really. It doesn't have to be existing. Or it doesn't have to be functioning to be existing. It just has to be.
Please,
You guys wanna look it up
you
yet?
should do the reading because
We got like
otherwise
10
for the
minutes.
middle.
Yeah.
The
You
one
ready?
forward.
The definition of existing things, anything that can be perceived,
I did,
oh yeah,
but
with a
not
valid
like
perception. You can't be drunk, you can't be emotionally upset, you can't be angry, you can't be sad, you can't be high, you can't be sick, you can't be having an affliction. No afflictions, no drugs, no alcohol, no
So
cigarettes.
concepts in there?
And you retire. Oh yeah, so that's it. So anything we were received.
Alright, now, number 2. Name, define, and give one example of each of the 2 most common categories into which all existing things are divided.
Now,
invisible and aware.
Either
mental is defined as something that you can point to as being
Changing or unchanging?
physical. Remember?
Yeah.
All existing things are
Because you have to
changing.
include blue in there. Color blue.
No.
Physical is
No.
something.
Because emptiness can be, emptiness is unchanging.
I'm
Is it
saying
existing?
physical is anything.
Emptiness is the absence of things.
No, but it's still like you have
What was
all
the
knowable
definition?
things. Remember?
Is blue physical or mental?
And then maybe have
Is that blue?
Yeah, okay.
The perception of it is mental, but what about that?
Talk by
That's neither. Well, you could argue that it's physical.
little bit.
Right, how do you prove it to an alien? Remember?
I'm sure you're right.
And then it says name,
You have to
define.
point to it.
Anything I
So,
can
define changing.
I don't have that in front of me exactly. But have a look at the answer as
No, that's
That's not a
example.
definition.
Definition.
that was part of it.
Remember, this is where something changing is something that functions good.
Oh, you know what it
Color
was?
is in
I think it's that.
Anything that's made is changing.
But the
Okay, do you want me to read it?
no, not yet.
Not yet.
Unchanging, I'm gonna say is definition of
The example was right.
Saying it's physical.
Emptiness.
Empty space and cessation.
I'm getting to it. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was
Well,
double
you
check.
call that.
Permanent
They
cessation.
didn't say sensation.
Not in its
Empty space is unbounded space, so it's a kind of conceptual. It's not something you're like, empty space in this room is kind of hard to find.
It's not a physical thing. It's long distance. Yeah, right. It's like a.
You have bounded and unbounded.
It's not. I'm saying it's not the physical space that you're thinking of. It's not like the coordinate. Hold on. Definition of changing and unchanging.
Okay, so you ready? Unchanging.
Anything that can be demonstrated
Each of which
as
is defined
physical
as
matter. For
one
example,
object which is both a thing and which is not such that
an
it only
object that is hot to the touch,
This is
a
unchanging.
heat
Yeah.
color you can point to. So you have to be demonstrated because of color. Sorry.
Both a thing and which is
Yeah.
not such that it only lasts for a moment.
It's true.
Yeah.
So in other words, it only lasts for a moment, it doesn't count. So it's not such that it only lasts for a moment.
Now that's a
Last
big
one
one
only
thing.
lasts for a moment. But emptiness
So
lasts
you
for
could
a long period of time.
point to
Even though
that.
it's
You can
not
demonstrate
permanent.
that that's physical.
No.
Say that
But it's
external
still,
thing I
but
just pointed
saying
it does
to.
not last for only a moment. It does not last for a
Yeah.
moment.
Anything that is in
Yeah. Because emptiness
anything that
only
performs
lasts.
a function, what's the function of a flower? It will grow. That's a
No, it's
synonym.
saying
Yeah.
emptiness lasts.
Organic and meat are the same.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's saying.
It
Like,
says-
think of the emptiness
It
as
says
time.
unchanging.
Yeah.
Is anything
You're
that
over by 1 minute.
the negative of lasting for a moment. So if something lasts for only a moment, it's changing.
Are you guys up to the second one or
Remember
not?
that.
I do, because remember we said emptiness
No,
is
you're
not
saying.
permanent.
Wait, say it again.
Emptiness
Things
is
for
not
diving
permanent.
straight in.
Say what you said.
Emptiness is anything which is a thing, an unchanging thing is anything which is a thing, unchanging thing, which is a thing, and does not last for only a moment. In other words, it lasts for
Nice.
Right, and they're saying
What's that?
such that it only lasts for
no, and it is not such that. Yeah. Tricky, right? So a changing thing would only last for a moment. A changing. Look at the changing thing.
When I was looking for a moment,
It's changing, right? So a changing thing such that it lasts only for a moment. Anything that only lasts for a moment.
isn't it the opposite?
What are you talking about?
Does the unchanging thing only last for a moment?
No.
A changing thing?
Unchanging.
No, an unchanging thing is such that it does not last for a moment.
Yeah, which is what it says. Yeah. Unchanging thing.
It's defined as the opposite of what it is.
Changing thing. Anything
It's a
that lasts for
negation.
only a moment.
It's not saying, the wording's weird. It says, which is not such that it only lasts for a moment. You're saying, which is
Say it's not
such that it does not last for a moment. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying it's not that other side that changes moment by moment. The unchanging thing is defined by being the opposite of the changing thing.
Remember when you were describing it to me and you were like, it only lasts for a moment because it comes into existence and it's out of existence. It's only
No.
there for a moment.
No.
Oh yeah, it was self-referential. The definition is
Remember,
self-referential.
that's what you said.
No, it's not what I said. It's not what I meant to say. It's not what it's mean.
That's what I see.
Yeah, thank you.
But okay, so let's say it again. If it's changing, it's such that it's not that. I mean, if it's changing, it only lasts for a moment.
Correct. Yeah.
If it's changing,
If it's unchanging, it's the
not
opposite of that. Yeah.
It has to be something, right? You got something.
Thank you. It's a thing.
That, no, it doesn't say the function.
How are you?
Only lasts for a moment. Unchanging, exactly the same. That not such that. I'm good.
Am I allowed to eat a cookie yet? Rachel made cookies. Would you please try one? It's amazing. And you want to give one to Brandon?
It doesn't last for a
Brandon.
moment.
Did I get that right? You have to try these cookies. Senor?
No, not necessarily. They said, be careful, don't call it permanent. Because the unchanging moment, then something like
They're
that,
pretty awesome.
like after a year.
I haven't tried this batch.
Such that the emptiness of your
Batch.
The emptiness of the bottle is gone.
the emptiness of your body will no longer exist after your body's gone. When you've done
One more minute.
Give the three different kinds of
working for
working
infinite
things.
number of years. It's not going to change. Well, it exists
Although we can
for a
perceive
specific
it
period of time.
after they're gone.
The memory of it.
Like you can perceive me after.
But once I stop perceiving you, then the emptiness of my perception is gone. We have 1 minute. We can come back to this later.
What's this? The three different kinds of working things.
Say that louder.
The three different kinds of working things, their definitions and a classical example of each one. You don't think this is
The three different kinds of working things?
Their definitions and a classical example of each one.
Okay, where's the problem?
Working
We
things.
have 1 minute. Shade, or do you want to guess? I remember this was about functioning.
Is this the one that has the circular definition?
Oh, wait. Stop. We're trying to figure this out on our own.
You got a minute.
You got a
I
minute?
know, but we could have just looked at our phone
Okay.
and done the same thing.
But thanks anyway.
What's the point of quizzing us if you're just going to give us the answer?
Because
So
then
we
we
can-
think of it as, I think of it one more time. You know, during the class.
Alright.
Something is functioning, right? If it's functioning, it means change.
Yeah, everything that's working is a changing thing. And that's not emptiness. Everything that's working is a changing thing.
Okay.
So three different kinds of working.
You're gonna explain it, right? Thank you. Thank you, Cliff.
You didn't get it?
Ladies and gentlemen, time's up.
Remember, it was physical, that's all I need there.
Put your name on top of it, and then we'll mark you. Okay, Sarah, what's your name?
Sarah.
Is your name on top of a piece of paper?
Yes, sir.
Good. Abner, what's your name? Is your name on top of a piece of paper? Cool. Brandon?
2 pieces of paper.
That's better.
Krieger,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, time's up. Does anybody have blank questions in their sheets? Javier,
A third blank.
you lost, you failed.
We got them all.
Who won Buddhism? Yeah, we won Buddhism. Okay, great.
We're all like that.
We cheated.
I 3 Buddhists. We didn't cheat.
Okay, so I'm doing this one quick because I'd really like to get to 2 bits of content that will be deep tonight, okay? Remember this thing. All knowable things divided into 2 things.
Thank you, guys.
Changing and unchanging. Yeah, takpa and mitakpa. Unchanging means stable, not permanent. A synonym for mitakpa, which is a changing thing, is nyokpo, which is a functioning thing. And that is important for the South Tantrika school where we're at, because I'm going to give you the punchline now. They think that is ultimate reality in their debating, okay? This is a big difference between the South Tantrika school, logic school, and the Madhyamika school, middle way school. and we're going to do something unorthodox and actually talk about it from the highest school, Majjhimika school, even though we're at the logic school, for tonight's topic, which is Chi Chedra, okay? However, so I need you to know that Nyopo, or functioning thing, working thing, is a synonym for changing thing. Is that cool? Oh. Does that work? Synonym? Yeah. Now, what was the 3 parts that you could fit under mitakpa, changing things? How can you divide that into 3 broad categories?
Physical thing.
Physical things, which is defined as, demonstrate as physical things. Why the word demonstrate was important?
So you can relate it?
You have to prove it. As opposed to blue, which you couldn't
Correct. So yeah. So
So
the color blue, you had to point to it, right? You could demonstrate that's a physical thing. How we do that, we didn't go into. Okay, but that was the word demonstrate as physical is important. Okay. What was the other one? Physical.
Mental.
Mental. Give me some stuff that fits into mental.
affliction.
An affliction. That's fine.
Invisible and aware.
Happiness.
Okay, cool. So we can put in that. And then Cliff is going to give us the third one, which is, because he did some research, which is neither and both, right?
Is it neither and both?
An active thing.
An active thing. They're all active things. Yeah? But explain it why. You said in relation to a person, because that's an example, right? A person,
So-
cow, horse.
Right, so the middle one, first it's just one thing, a demonstrable thing
Mhm.
is important because it's another way of saying that, it's something that can be perceived by one of the 5 physical senses.
Awesome.
So that's when we're saying the blue, it's you can see it with your eye.
Yeah.
Smell something, that makes it physical.
Yeah.
Feel the heat.
Great.
So that's a physical thing.
Nice.
But the middle one is if you take an example of, say, a person,
Which is the classic example, right?
go the easy way,
Mhm.
right? If you take a person, you can't say a person is a physical thing. A body is physical, but a cadaver you wouldn't call a person, it would be a dead body, so it's different. So a person would have other attributes to it. It would have certain attributes which you may call mental attributes, which would be the way a person would react, their feelings, their personality, all the history that they have, and that you could recognize, but it wouldn't be physical. So you can't say that a person is physical, and you can't say that it's mental. So if it's not physical and it's mental,
It's this
logically
other.
it must be something else, and that something else is the middle one there.
Beautiful. That was so nicely explained.
And one other thing,
And he did that by text, by the way.
and it is a changing thing, because if we take the person to be Hector, Hector is changing as a person every moment, every day.
And my own perception of me and others' perception of me is shifting.
There you go.
Beautifully said. Excellent. Is that nice? That's awesome.
I think that's mental, but that's just.
There's a difference. There's a difference between the flower and our mental image of a flower and our experience of that flower. Okay, and we're going to try and touch that tonight. But that's good because I tend to jump there as well. I'm like, the concept, the name is also mental. But let's use the division they're teaching us so we can see where it leads us. Because that's what we're doing. We're getting a map from enlightened beings that have had realizations on this planet and had been freed from cycles of suffering because they've walked this map. So my job is not to do anything to you other than show you that map, and your job is to see how you relate to that map. That's really what we're doing here, teaching. Yeah? By saying Buddha had a realization. He didn't invent something. He and many others on this planet had realizations of the suchness, the nature of things. And with that realization, they were freed from being lost in a sense of, where the hell am I? How do things work? I don't understand why I keep hurting. I don't understand this coming and going, this birth and death. I don't understand. We've been doing this suffering for millennia. We don't even call it suffering because we take it for granted. We accept it. Beings have observed the nature of things through going through a maze. They've experienced viscerally the nature of things as they truly are. And then they were freed from that cycling. Yeah? These courses, these concepts, the teachings of the Buddha, the awoken one, the awaked one, the one who woke up, yeah, are the map to get beings to have those realizations. So the debating that we're doing is awesome. Oh, I think it's mental. I'm not sure if I'm buying that. I'm changing things like that. That's perfect. That's what you have to do. No one's going to say to you, hey, welcome to the class. These 5 things are enlightenment. Bye. You're enlightened. That doesn't happen. You have to struggle. You have to question. You have to go up and down the map. And you have to come to your own edges. Yeah? And in the Dhammapada Sutra, the Buddha said, once you're along the way enough, you're going to have to light fire to this boat that you're on the map with called Dharma and let go of that too. Right? To get to the other side. And I hope you get there. Just don't burn it before you're like close to the edge.
Yeah. I have to build it up again. Don't do that.
No burning. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah.
Can you press pause on my thing?
On me.
No, on the.
Oh.
Like unpause.
Unpause. You have to give me the.
2866.
Everybody know 2866 is her passcode. Okay.
Yeah.
We should try her bank account. 28. It's now on the internet. 28. Thank you. So, before we go into all the stuff you just wrote down, okay, which was revision of class 1 and 2, don't need to go through anymore. Thank you very much for discussing it together. Nothing gives me more bliss than to hear snippets of conversation, talking wisdom. I want to talk about debating, if I may, because we didn't get to it in the first 2 classes and I was supposed to. So this is a catch-up for debating, which is to get you to ultimate truth. The point of debating and Buddhist logic is not because it's a nice mental exercise, because you're going to get super intelligent. Super intelligent people die. Okay? Super intelligent people have broken relationships. Super intelligent people have broken bank accounts. So, seriously, super old people are intelligent. It's not the point, okay? The point is, through this practice of checking how your mind makes assumptions about reality, you could catch the mistake, the take that was wrong, the way you grabbed onto reality that was problematic, that caused the suffering in the first place. By breaking down the way our minds grabs an experience, puts all this experience together into one thing, and then we act on that experience. This is how life is normally. Debating, logic, slowing down, and then meditating on these things lets you break that up into a few bite-sized bits of thinking and feeling. And you watch the relationship between these 3 or 4 components of our mind as it grabs onto an idea or an object or an experience, and then all your assumptions get dumped onto that, and then you act on that. Before that happens, with debate and logic, you can break that up and say, here is some idea I'm working with. I believe this is going to happen because of such and such, just like it happened before. Something like that. These 4 components tend to fill our minds when we go into something. We go, look, I am broke. Consider my brokenness. Yeah? I'm always going to be broke because I've never had enough money, or my parents are broke, or I didn't get enough education, or whatever it is, just like I've always done, something like that. Your mind will give you 3 or 4 packets of information which you won't grab. It just happens like that. You just assume you'll never make money, or you just assume you'll never be happy, or you'll just assume that you are going to be happy if you just have that ice cream. And debate and logic helps you break that up and say, do you really understand that this causes that and that causes that? Is that really what you believe? And in debating, you get somebody else's mind saying, that's stupid. Why would you think that? I know plenty of people who have never gone to university and they're millionaires. So it's not to do with that. And then you're like, oh, I have to fight against that. And in debate, you will be forced to come to terms with your assumptions. Yeah? So in this class, before we go to the deep class, we're just going to play with a few rules of debating. But the purpose of debating is to break up assumptions in your mind that get you in trouble. The mistakes in your consciousness that cause your suffering. Ultimately, at the end of the day, once you practice logic thinking and debating with other people, you should come to truth. You should come to a truth. Now, we might come to the truth of, does money come from study or doesn't study, or does it come from hard work, or whatever. But that won't help you. To come to an ultimate truth about the nature of all things might help you. And hopefully we'll get to that by the end of this course. Today, we're just playing, okay? So we're going to teach you a few fundamentals or some basics of logic and debating. Are we cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Let's go for it. The first thing I want to talk about is some basics. Are going to include the goal of debating, something that's going to happen to your intelligence. We're going to talk about the posture, the structure of debating, and how it plays out in practice. So we're just going to cover all those things in the next half hour or so. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah? The goal. I said this before any kind of debate, you sit there and you pray. You check your motivation. You get crystal clear about why the hell you're debating. Like I said, you're not doing it to win, okay? I mean, you are doing it to win the ultimate goal, which is to wake the hell up, okay? But you're not there to prove someone wrong so you can feel good. That would be the most retarded thing you could do here, okay? The motivation, the goal is to get really clear about why you're going to engage in this exercise with another set of beings. Yeah, and you can go deep, 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 deep and go, I want to get free of suffering. I want to get myself out of samsara and everybody I know and reach the ultimate state of wisdom and bliss like an enlightened being. If you can get to that motivation, I'm doing this for the sake of everyone else, awesome. Mm-hmm.
So you're saying the motivation is to get yourself to get it, but can I have it for the other person that I'm debating? Because that makes it different how I respond.
Well, where is the other person that you're debating coming from?
From their perception.
From their perception? They exist out there separate to you?
Well, no. My perception of them.
Of them is in you. Yeah?
But is my goal to make them clear their mental afflictions, or?
The better goal would be for you to clear your own mental afflictions so you could help them. Yeah? They might look afflicted. They might look like they need a slap over the head to wake up, right?
And not just to throw a wrench in their thought.
Well, if you're trying to get them out of suffering, yeah.
So just throw a wrench.
Not just throw a wrench. No? I'm not sure if you understand what I was saying, or you're just saying that to throw a wrench.
What I'm saying is I understand that my intention is to go in for my suffering to go away, to understand the ultimate reality.
Why?
So
what's a bodhisattva?
I can come back and...
Not come back. You can doing it while you're there, debating with them.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're not going away to nirvana and then catching a ticket back later. Yeah? Yeah. Like your experience of this world comes from you. Yeah? Including the beings that are not having that experience from the highest perspective. Yeah, so ultimately you're debating with your ignorance, even if it appears out there. Yeah, which if you understand how to play with your own karma, you could perceive that that person that looks like an idiot to you now, let's say, yeah, that you need to throw a wrench for them, is a Buddha disguised as an idiot, bodhisattva trying to get you to wake the hell up. Yeah. Now that might be a really strong motivation for you. Why? Because you then have the perception of a Buddha, which makes your karma extremely big and strong. You have the perception of a temporary pretending suffering being, who you're going to help, yeah? But you are thinking emptiness, meaning there can't be a suffering being out there separate to my perception. So the scope of your act, the scope of your karma is huge, and if you're doing it for the sake of everybody else who's trying to trick you to get enlightened, yeah, you get a faster result. It's one of the tricks of karma to get a faster karma. Okay, so think now why the hell you'd want to get into the corners of your own mind to wake up the mistakes. Yeah, that was a nice exchange, but what is it for you specifically? Yeah, what's your world? What's every living being in your world? It's not someone out there you haven't imagined. It's the people you work with. It's the people you talk to all the time. It's the guy and the girl you see in the mirror every morning and you have thoughts about them, thinking you're an idiot because of this, or you did this again, all that self-talk. You are also one of everyone. Okay, so think really clearly about the motivation you would do to dig into this part of your mind, and imagine, just imagine if you could fix the mistake, if you could fix that incorrect assumption or that link that happened so fast that we're so used to it we just take it for granted. Yeah. So typically people go in there to meditate, to debate, to try and solve some uncertainty they have about their understanding of Dharma, of practice. Yeah. Or the other thing I'd like you to think about is that there's nothing that the Buddha taught that wasn't designed specifically for your own enlightenment. Right? If he knew everything, then why would he say anything that wouldn't be useful for your enlightenment? Yeah, so thinking that way will help you broaden the scope of the act of debate. We haven't started yet, so think now. Who has never debated before in a Tibetan style? Never debated before, okay. I'm not really a good debater, so it's good that you haven't, because then that means I can teach you the little I know. But as you grow, you're going to get other people to help you learn. But if you haven't done it yet, this is a beautiful moment for you to think about what motivation can you color every single debate you're ever going to have from now on. Because if you haven't done it before, you're just beginning this domino effect karma. So why don't we just sit quietly for 1 second. They would chant for about 45 minutes. They'll do the Heart Sutra like 18 times or something and all sorts of things. We're not doing that. So think for a minute the highest motivation of getting crystal clear in your mind how to fix the mistakes in consciousness and therefore free everybody from samsara, whatever that means to you. Let's just sit there for a minute and think about that before we learn this, because this will be a nice beginning to your domino effect investigation into your mind. See if you can add joy, like a bliss, happiness in your heart for fixing the mistake, breaking through the veil of misunderstanding to perfect knowing. See if you can add joy to that experience. Okay. Another thing that happens when you practice is you develop these types of intelligence. I'll just quickly give you these. These are some of the words related to the kinds of mind training that, or the intelligence that come out of practicing debating. You get swift intelligence, which is your capacity to think on your feet, sort of like Nick Demaris does when he does the rapping. You know the rapping. What's he do? The beatboxing. Freestyle, whatever that modern thing is in the internet. Your capacity to think quick on your feet, yeah, So the more you practice, the more you like. I've heard that argument 6 times because I've been practicing this debating for a month now. You're like, I've thought past that. Now I can think this. So your capacity for a quick comeback gets developed in your mind. Yeah. So you're fasting fit. This is good. There's two. Sorry. There's 2 positions that you take. The attacker, which is the standing person, and the defender of an argument. Yeah, so you'll have an argument, and you get somebody attacking that argument, trying to break it down. They choose the topic, and then this person sitting down who gets to defend it with a few rules. Yeah. So let's go back. So back to this part. So the intelligence you develop, imagine being the attacker, you'd be really quick on your feet, right? Because you get to throw argument after argument after argument, and the person sitting down is choked into giving you 1 or 4 answers or 5 answers or so. So then you have to think, I'm going to get him that way, I'm going to get him that way, I'm going to get it that way. With what motivation, right? Okay. Clear thinking. Think very, you become really articulate and you choose your words because you're trying to trick them to see if they can find a mistake, yeah? And help you find your mistake. So you get really clear thinking. You think through a problem because you're like 2 steps ahead and so on. So this is also good for the attacker, yeah? They tend to develop these 2 states of mind. For the defender, they get penetrating intelligence, meaning they get to really consider deeply into the nature of whatever issue you're debating. So they're like, oh, if I answer this, it's going to go that way, and if I answer that, it's going to go this way. And if it goes that way, I'm going to have to go that way. So you begin to go deeper and deeper into the subject you're debating. You following? Mm-hmm. Is that interesting or boring? Cool. And then you get this encompassing. It tends not to be quick, this capacity you build in your intelligence to be broad. It has lots of topics linked together because you have to think, oh, if I grab it from over here and I throw it over there, he's going to come over here or she's going to come over there and answer them. So you have to think very broadly. It's not quick and sharp like the attacker. It's sort of deeper and broader. Yeah. So that's a kind of state of mind you develop, or an intelligence you develop as a defender of an argument. So far you got that image, right? Someone standing up, they're doing all this dancing. I'll show you that posture in a second. And then there's the person sitting down defending, and they're restricted to their answer. One way that Geshe Michael explained it was, it's like a binary system. You force the answers to be yes, no, I'll cover those in a sec, right? But you'll get restricted to answer, which forces you to choose your words wisely, and it forces you to think ahead of your opponent. Mm-hmm. Who's that helping? If you're sitting there going, he's going to say this, or he's going to say that, or they're going to say that, and if they say that, I better say this, so I can't say that. Who's that helping? Yourself. Absolutely, right? And you come to like, oh my goodness, I don't know about that, I better figure that out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not to make you feel bad. This is to make you feel awesome, right? Because you're finding out your limitations. And some amazing being in front of you is helping you. Your friend. Yeah. Which is beautiful. So at first it's slow. At first that's why I'm teaching you slow as well. It's also good for me. And then you're going to get 1, 2, 3 steps into a debate, and you're going to get quicker and quicker and quicker. Yeah, so I encourage you to do this as much as possible. When I first learned this in 1995-6, I think, we used to go to Madison Park, opposite on 23rd Street in Madison Square. And that was like a rat fest. The fountain was not working, so we could jump in there, and that became our debate ground. So I used to go in there with Lama Christie, with Winston, and a few other people. And every lunchtime we had, because I used to work around there, we'd jump in there with our lunch and we'd try. And we didn't know what we were doing, but we would try with these rules to try and break each other's thinking. so we could come to understand what we were being taught in these classes. And it's to this day one of the most beautiful memories I have. So let's talk about, what are we talking about next? The posture. I talked about the attacker defender. Let me, so let's look at that guy that's got his hand up, like that. The left hand signifies the hand of wisdom. So it signifies that you're holding wisdom over here. And over here is the hand of method, which is another word for
Merit.
merit is what you, bodhicitta, right? It's the stuff you do, the method, right? And if you have, and then your foot is up, and then you come down and you clap and stomp down. Now that sound is the closing of the gates of the lower realms. The foot stomping as well. Then with your method, you grab wisdom and you draw up beings from samsara. So the debate starts with, you make a statement or something like that, and you shut the doors of hell or shut the doors of the lower realms. With a huge stomp, meeting of wisdom and method. What does that mean for Madhyamika practitioners? What are you thinking when I say the meeting of wisdom and method and wisdom?
Jefferson. Wait, no. Buddha.
Think method and wisdom. What does it mean when they meet?
Awakening.
What's wisdom?
The
Emptiness.
direct perception of emptiness.
Don't be afraid. It's emptiness, right? So you're talking about a real deep understanding of
Become a
emptiness.
Buddha.
So that's right. Good. So the meeting of those two is enlightenment itself, right? It's fantastic. So you're going, and then you're making a huge sound. Imagine, I don't know how you imagine the closing of the lower realms and the drawing up of every being. So they come up and you shut the door. I know it's in reverse, but that's what you should imagine.
Literally, the beads are.
The beads are you're drawing up. So you put it up here, and you imagine every sentient being in lower realms escaping samsara. Like through this act, you are meeting method and wisdom.
Wait, don't you bring the mala up first and then? No?
You go, oh, you do actually. Sorry, you're right. You're right. No. Yep.
You bring him out, then you close.
Thank you. That's better than closing and doing them up.
Well, the door is empty, so you can pull them.
We're coming through the door, and it was solid on one side. In my mind for a long time. Thank you. So we got that. Yeah. Who's got their malas with them? No. Do we have lots of malas here? Yeah. So you're either welcome to give a donation, but I'd like to. Do we have enough to give to everybody?
Maybe.
We have a lot of the bracelets, but
How many do we have of these? So at least get me half, so then every second person has one. Who does have a mala with them here? No one. Okay. So this is drawn up, and then then there's this part called taunting. Thank you. Which is the fun part for me. Where so you've done that to start, right? You've drawn them up. You shut the gate. You with the meeting of method and wisdom, which means the way I imagine it is you imagine a resounding sound wave through every perception you've ever had in the universe, shifting everybody from ignorance to awakening. So that's how I imagine. I don't know how you're going to imagine it in your mind. Thank you. That's all we have.
There's a bowl full.
Oh, okay, cool.
Let me grab some more.
And then I think it's okay for us to give them to you if you don't have one and you want to keep them because this is the right thing to do. But because they are the Three Jewels, you're welcome to leave a donation. If you don't have a lot, it's fine to give nothing. If you have $1, leave $1. If you leave something, it's a good thing, right? But take a mala. If you don't have one, please take one because this is one you're learning with. We don't have a $600 mala in there, do we? Cool, excellent. Someone got a $600 mala. Excellent. So then a couple of other things you might see. I'll show it to you in a second. You draw them up, you stomp, and then the taunting might be, they give you an answer, they might give you a silly answer, and you might put your method hand on top of your wisdom hand, and you go, come on, show me what you mean, right? So you're trying to get them to wake up. The other thing, if they say something really silly and you want to embarrass them, or you want to threaten them, maybe they said the right thing, but you want to scare them to see if they're really sure and solid on their position, you might grab your mala with your method hand, and you might just put it around their head and go, oh, you need a little bit of wisdom, don't you? You need a little bit of wisdom. So you're sort of taunting them, either because they gave you the right answer and you want to push them to see if they're serious about it, or they're just like froze and gave you an answer. Or if they really give you a very silly answer, you're like, you're a bit of an idiot, right? You need some wisdom. You need some wisdom. So that's a couple of taunting moves. How does that feel for everybody?
Good.
That's my favorite part.
Sorry,
Are you
can
sure?
you repeat the taunting move?
2 taunting moves that I could share. I'm sure there's more,
Okay.
right? One is like, show me whatever you said. Like, let's.
And that's the attacker or the defender?
Yeah, the attacker. Sure.
That's what
Yeah,
it
this
is.
is all the attacker. Yeah.
And the other ones, you don't know things.
It's like, you know nothing. You need a little bit of wisdom around your silly little head. Yeah? Like that. You're trying to intimidate them, but not because you're mean. Yeah?
Because you want to wake him up.
Yeah. Okay? But also, you might be buying yourself some time. Okay?
Oh.
Just
Another technique is to laugh.
okay.
Oh, no. Oh, debate.
So that's, we're happy with that? Let me give you a few more things. Boom, boom. Because we're going to cover the structure, and then we're going to cover a little bit in practice, and then we're going to go into the topic of tonight. But so far, we're good with that? Give me what the left hand means.
Wisdom.
What does that mean?
Perception.
The understanding that things have no nature of their own. Yeah? Yeah? What's method?
Bodhicitta, the way.
Cool. It means all the activity you do, right? But hopefully with a bodhisattva motivation, right? Boom. What's the tapping mean? And stopping? After you have, thank you for the order. After you have raised everybody from the lower realms. Yeah? So let's say you don't do anything else but that for the next month with each other. Alright? I'm going to show you a few words to say. But let's say you don't do anything but think of that and practice that and laugh with that, which is what we did for the first couple of months, right? We're like, oh, we did chichir and we did chicha, yeah? And that's enough to realize that you're doing some act that has the motivation to stop samsara, okay? That's a really good thing. So, enjoy it. The structure of a debate. This used to trip me up, and I hope I'm going to give you the most simple way to explain it, and we can go through it again next class as well. But all it is remember I keep saying, your mind has this collection of ideas that come clumped together in one globule, and you believe that idea to be a thing, and then you act based on that idea. Yeah? This breaks that up into 3 or 4 components that you can look that you could look at through the debating process. And the first one, which is what the attacker does, they choose a logical statement, yeah, that includes having a subject matter. So you might begin a topic by, first of all, you kneel in front of them and you imagine them as a Buddha, and you do that motivation thing that I said, and you whisper in their ear, Di Chichen, Di Chichen. And D-H-I, is the sound syllable for Manjushri. And what's Manjushri stand for?
Bodhisattva, wisdom.
Oh,
Wisdom.
Stainless
Yeah?
wisdom.
Wisdom. Okay. What's his mantra? Om Ara Prachana Di 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 Di. Remember that? Have you heard that? So that's the first mantra they teach little monks in monasteries, in Tibetan monasteries. Yeah, Om Ara Pratsana. And you're supposed to say it until your breath runs out, until there's no more oxygen in you. Right? You're supposed to spread wisdom like that. So there's all these little monks. If you've seen them in Nepal, you would have seen them in the monastery. You go, Om Ara Pratsana. Until you're exhausted, okay? And so there's all these little monks running around like that. So I'm going to ask you to practice that. So D is wisdom, and Churchen is consider, right? D Chichen. So you're saying consider wisdom. So that you're just saying to the person that's going to defend an argument, we're talking about wisdom, yeah? So let's practice the mantra so we can get some wisdom into the room and imagine Manjushri if you know what they look like, and if not, imagine whatever burns ignorance completely, okay? It's a being with a sword of fire that cuts the root of ignorance on the right hand, and on the other hand holding a lotus that has the Wisdom Sutra, Prajnaparamita, perfection of wisdom. So say Om, Ara, Pratsana, D, D-H-I, yeah, T. Om Ara Pratsana D. Om Ara Pratsana D. Now take a deep breath and go Om Ara Pratsana D. That's awesome, yeah? So you might say, okay, the subject matter is D, wisdom, okay? Or you might say, so that's nice, we've got a whole bunch of Manjushris over here. So, see, well, you can look it up on the spelling, on the correct spelling, yeah? Or I can give it to you after.
Chuchen is consider?
Consider, yeah, Chuchen, which is the only, it's the only real word I want you to learn so far, because after this, we're not going to use Tibetan words, just the Chuchen, yeah? Just the Chuchen for the attacker, okay? So you can say, Sky Chuchen. What's that mean?
Consider the sky.
Okay, right? So that's what the topic's going to be, the sky, okay? Or jacket Chuchen. Consider the jacket, yeah? So remember I said, we act on assumptions. Our mind is happening like this. We never slow it down. We're going to slow it down now. We're saying, in one of these, inside this thing that gives us a feeling and then we act on, is a bunch of subsets, sub-ideas. And we're grabbing the first part of it, the thing we're considering, the Chechen. Yeah? We're saying the jacket. We're going to talk about wisdom, D. Or we're going to talk about the jacket. Or we're going to talk about sky. Does that make sense? But then there's all this stuff associated to that we take for granted. We have assumptions about. And in this debate, we're going to figure out whether those relationships, those assumptions are correct or not, or whether they get us in trouble. And ultimately, once we begin practicing this, we're going to realize where they get us in trouble and how they get us in trouble. Because often the mistake is an association between these things. So the next part of the way our minds work is the assertion. Consider the sky. It is a certain thing. Like we have a consideration about a subject matter, and then we have an assertion about it. We think it's a certain way, or we think it isn't a certain way. Do you follow so far? So let me say, consider the sky. It is blue. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay, so you see that I've got the first little blue hole over there. Yeah? And it's pointing to one answer or two answers. We'll get to that in a second. But as an attacker, you're going to say to somebody who's sitting down there, sky vision. Yeah? We're talking about sky. Consider the sky. It is blue, right? So far, you don't have to get any expertise in debating, right? You already have answers for me, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah? Is the sky blue? Quick, come on.
Yes.
Not always.
What about at night?
Oh.
Duh! Like you're done for. Right? Okay. That was a quick debate. Okay, but you see how we got so lost in that we forgot all our assumptions about sky, right? Of course it's blue. We don't even question it, right?
Yeah.
But if we think that's true, we're missing out on at least 12 hours worth of sky. Yeah? Okay. That's true for everything we do in our world.
Wow.
Okay? And that's only the first half of a logical debate. After this, our mind says, consider this. It is this, or it isn't that, or it will do this, or it won't do that, whatever the assertion is, right? The second packet of our thing. And then, we're so good at this, we're built for this, it'll give us a reason, right? It'll say, because, blah, right? Consider the sky. It's blue because I see it every day. Yeah? Because it's not green, or whatever. What was the definition of a reason in logical? Anything that's given out as a reason, right? It doesn't have to be correct, okay? A reason in this debate.
But isn't the is?
Huh?
Isn't the is? Isn't it the verb? The is?
That's the assertion. Is or isn't is the assertion. I'm saying it is this way, or it isn't that way, or it did this, or it didn't do this. Whatever you're going to assert, whatever you're going to claim, the subject does. Yeah. So in this case, I'm saying the sky is blue. Yeah. That's my assertion. I believe the sky is blue. Yeah. I'm asserting that. Yeah. And my reason can be anything I choose. Because you, as the defender, get to argue back. Yeah? In fact, a good debater will tell you a subject matter that we both share, like you know sky and I know sky. So I can say sky. Yeah? So we're set, we're good. So far you're in, right? That's how I got you to say blue. I knew you were going to say blue. Yeah? I set it up that way because you and I know sky. I even made the lines blue so you would say blue. I said the word blue like 3 times, like a neuro-linguistic program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then, so after the assertion is the questionable thing, which most of us don't question. The assertion is really the thing we're debating, we're breaking up. We're like, do you really think skies are blue? Right? Like, damn. Remember the story of Geshe when he was going to meet Tsongkhapa for the first time, and he met this hag who ended up being a goddess, who asked him the logical question of is the top, because he comes out one way, cow poop comes out that way and then it drops that way, so the top is up here when it starts and then it's down there when it ends, which is the top, remember? And he's like, oh, okay. So
who is the goddess?
And sometimes, so this fourth part we're not going to go into too much, we usually give ourselves an example, a proof, yeah? Say, because of this, yeah? I have a photo of it being blue, the sky, yeah? Every day I see it blue, yeah? So then we have an example. Blue like, give me a like. Blue like the eyes of Rachel. Yeah? Consider the sky. It is blue because I've seen it that color like Rachel's blue eyes. Or consider my jacket. I said my jacket before, right? My sister stole it because I found it in her room. Like I found my other things that she stole. Yeah, like we think that way all the time. Consider this. It is this way, I'm sure of it, which we're not, okay? But we think we are. We act with 80%, 50%, 20% belief that that assertion is true. Then we give ourselves a reason because of this. My jacket, consider my jacket. So jacket, Geshe. Yeah? Consider my jacket. My sister stole it. That's the assertion, right? Why? The reason? I found her in a room. Is that a logical statement?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it true though?
We don't know.
Have to be.
It doesn't have to be, right? And that's just a really good beginning of a debate, right? So give me some answers you would give me about my sister stealing my jacket.
Maybe someone else took it and put it in her room.
That's a good answer, right? What other?
Maybe she's just borrowing it.
Maybe she actually stole it.
Maybe you forgot you left it there.
Ooh, maybe I
Was
forgot it.
everything in your room stolen?
Oh, nice! That's really clever. Is everything in her room stolen, right? I said the assertion because it was in her room, right? My sister stole it because it was in her room. A clever answerer would go, everything in her room stolen, right? But you're not allowed to say those things. I'll give you the limits you have. You can think that, and you're gonna stick to that idea. Let's go there, yeah? And you're gonna have this code to answer. Are you okay so far with these 4 packets, usually 3 packets that we put together in a thought we have, and we just act on life based on these things? And when you break them up, you go, it's a question mark. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is just a format for the attacker.
This is just the attacker, yeah? Who gets to pick the topic. So if it's die Churchen, we're talking wisdom. If it's jacket Churchen, we're talking about my jacket. Yeah? If it's sky Churchen, we're talking about the sky. Is that fair? Yeah. And look, you can or can't give an example, it doesn't matter. But when you do, it sort of makes your argument stronger, right? Consider my jacket. My sister stole it because I found it in her room, like I found my other stolen things in there last week. Ooh, that's proof, right? Like we believe it. Yeah? Okay. So then let's restrict our answers. So you as the defender, or when you are defending, you get to think all these things that you just gave me. The best one I liked was Jacqueline. Why? Why did I like Jacqueline's best?
She used the assertion.
Yes.
Use the reason.
She
reason.
threw it back. Yeah, she threw it back in my face, and she sort of broadened the argument. Like, damn, I hadn't even thought about all those other things in her room. Yeah, it's saying that my assertion being weird, she just showed me how weird it was, right? Now, does that prove that my sister didn't steal my jacket?
No.
Right. So now, what if she did, and I have to prove that to that argument? What if my sister really did steal my jacket? But that argument is like, based on what you said, everything in her room must be stolen, or whatever you said. Right? So let's restrict you. Here are the answers you can give as a person sitting down. Yeah, you can go, duh, which is I agree. Like blended. Yeah, when I said consider the sky, it's blue. He's like, duh, I did. Yeah, it's blue. I agree. No argument. Yeah? Fair?
Mm-hmm.
Or he could say, teacher, which means why? Yeah, like give me a reason for that. Yeah? And you could, so you might be restricted. So I might say, consider my jacket, right? My jacket, my sister stole it because it's in her room. And you can go, teacher, why? Oops, my sister stole it. And you can go, why? And I say, because it was in her room, right? Fair? Yeah. So teacher means, tell me why you made that assertion on that subject. Is that fair?
Yes.
And then I give you a reason. It was in her room. And you get only 2 answers. Okay? And they are Kiavamachum, saying your reason is okay, but your assertion is sort of weird. Yeah? Or Tatmadrup, which is your reason is not correct. Right? So for example, I said in the first class that consider the sky is blue because cats. Like if a reason can be anything I choose cats for my reason. Is that a good reason for the sky being blue? Huh? Vicky's come here. It's already going to be confusing. So you get to say, when I give you a reason, you get to say, that reason is okay, but your assertion's a bit weird, which puts the onus back on me to start questioning you. Are you saying this? Or are you saying that? And dig deeper for you in your assertion, in the way you reason, and try and get you to my assertion. We'll get to it, yeah? For now, I just want to give you the code, yeah? Or you could say, your reason's weird, it's not correct. And then my job is like to prove to you that that reason does feed the assertion I'm making by giving you other examples and so on. And you can either say, I agree, or why, give me another reason to that, etc., etc. And then it begins going deeper and deeper and deeper. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah? So all you need to know so far is the posture of debating, which we're all going to do in a minute, yeah? And your motivation before you go there. Then as an attacker, you're going to choose a subject. You're going to make an assertion, make it really simple, something that we can all easily debate with you, yeah? And then as the person defending, you're going to get to ask why. You're going to say, look, your reason's good, but your assertion's weird, or your reason doesn't work. Yeah, that's really all the code. You don't even have to say it in Tibetan. You just need to get that code. Because if you're sitting there, you're actually like a deep think. If you're the defender, you're a deep thinker chess player. And as the attacker, you're the one on your feet, fast, trying to, what is it when you scare someone? When you're trying to rattle the person to give you a quick answer to get sweaty, you know? And then when a debate gets, so that's the idea. We got it? Yeah. So I want to show you in practice, right? So this is what they look like doing it. But when you get really into it, they can get a little heated, and they might get a little too heated, yeah, to the point of like extreme. But at the end of the day, you just got to have fun, yeah. And once a debate begins to get into the core of you, like, no, I think you're crazy, yeah? Your answer was weird. Somebody else might listen, some of your classmates and so on, and they'll jump in and they'll either go on the side of the attacker or go on the side of the defender, and you'll see crowds of people. Who's been to a Tibetan monastery? We saw one, right, in Nepal, or you would have seen it now in your recent trip.
No, I saw it when we
went to Nepal, right?
We
So
actually shot it. I can bring video of that.
That would be awesome, yeah. And they get so passionate, and then they start going, defending each other. They're like, he's crazy. I wouldn't let him answer you that way. And they'll jump in and they'll throw more and more questions to your answers. At the end of the day, you got to have fun. You're doing something magnificent. You're breaking ignorance in the deepest way, because the pressure that you feel sitting down or even arguing, especially when you say something stupid, which you're supposed to do, right? Eventually you're going to say something stupid and everyone's going to laugh at you, and you should be happy, because what are they doing? They're showing you your mistakes, yeah? And then you'll never use that mistake again. Next time you're close to that mistake, you're like, oh, I can't do that, right? Like next time someone asks you, is the sky blue? You're like, duh, no, but are you stupid? No, like, what about at night? Or what about when there's clouds? You know?
For example, if you say, what about at night, I can respond to that as it's a different shade of blue.
Oh, that's a very nice answer. Check that out. This is all you can answer, okay? I'm going to put it up so you can get restricted to these answers. So, I'm going to divide the room in two, and we're going to do it like we did in China. We're going to... How many people in the room? Someone do a quick count. Divided by 2.
26.
Who wants to defend?
Sure, I'll leave.
Ah!
Does that mean you have to sit on the ground?
Who's lazy? Okay, defenders, sit along there. Right? So if you're defending, you're staying there where you are on that row. If you're attacking, come up and to my side. Stephen,
Yeah.
put your camera over there so it sees the road.
I want to attack Steven.
Choose a partner. We're gonna really bother the lady downstairs.
Come at me, bro.
Come at
Come at me, bro. Let's sit here. Maybe everyone come forward one.
Can we turn the lights up?
Yep. Turn the lights up.
See that one?
Cool. If you have a mala, you're attacking.
Over? Because I can
Yeah.
get my mala. Here, you sit small. I'm gonna go get mine.
You have a mala.
Okay, it's okay.
Paul, can I put this here?
Good. You have an attack now? Who are you attacking?
I changed my mind.
I'm
Ready?
just gonna hang
You're attacking.
Thank you.
I like your mind. You want to be attacked? Take it open. Yeah, you know the attack. You're attacking. Javier. Who's attacking?
Oh, but we have to think of what we're gonna say.
Yeah. So you have to think. So first of all, I'm just going to get you to do the moves, and then we're going to get you to do a debate, okay? So you're attacking, and you're attacking. Whom?
No, I can put this behind you.
Sit down here.
Can I just observe?
You can observe, but then we're going to get you to do it. Who are you attacking?
Ron needs an attacker.
You want to be attacked.
Attack Ron.
Okay, Steve, you got it? Are you going to stay? Or are you going to attack?
I'm technical.
Your technical support? Okay.
Just maybe you can put it because it's a nice shot.
You are Ganesh attacker?
Huh?
You are attacker.
Oh, this? This is Avila.
And then put mine down somewhere.
So before you attack, you have to look at your opponent as a Buddha. Get on your right knee. Get on your left knee. Get on your knee.
What do we do?
You don't do anything. You just look at them. And so I'm doing it with you. Okay? And you're going to look at them, and in your mind, you're going to say, thank you so much for teaching me wisdom. Yeah? In this case, let's use wisdom as the thing we're going to debate. So you can go Di Chichen. But you're going to think this guy's a Buddha, right? So just make a little gesture that you're sitting actually in front of the Buddha, and that he's going to let you or she's going to let you smash them to the ground. Not to be competitive or anything. And then get up with that motivation. Okay? And let's go. Let's use the first one we'll do together. Okay? So you're going to go. What should we debate? Let's debate that my sister stole my jacket. Okay?
Yes.
So let's do that one because that's easy, right? Consider my jacket. So jacket teacher. What are you going to say? Alright, you got it. Sorry, I didn't say teacher. What? Teacher. Sorry, teacher. Jacket teacher. My sister stole my, consider the jacket. My sister stole it. Yes?
My sister stole it.
No, you can only say, I agree, or why.
Why?
Now you say,
Don't say I agree.
because I found it. And you can only say, Kyamamatu, which means reason is okay. So the reason is,
I found it in her room.
you did find it in a room. Maybe you did, right? Or if you don't agree with that, like I don't know it was in a room. You could say anything like that. How do you know it was in a room? You could do anything like that, right? In your mind. But all you can say is
Okay.
the reason's okay, but that doesn't mean she stole it. So you're going to say Kyamamatu. Or if you say, well, it was in her room. You're right. If you're going to go that track, say that. But I don't believe she stole it. Your assertion's not correct. Right? Oh no, sorry, the reason's not correct. Yeah. Which was?
She might have stolen it.
She might have stolen it, but maybe that wasn't her room. Yeah? Is that cool?
No, it's still
Wait,
gonna
I don't
search
know.
it.
Just as recent, because I found it in my room.
That's a good reason, but it's not your third.
That's not a good reason that she stole it.
That's not a proof.
It's not a good reason.
You could have left it there, it's not a good reason.
She's got to think that.
Yeah.
No, well, the
And then even depending on what she gives you, either of those, you have to go back and try and tell her, are you saying that everything in her room is this or it's not, etc. Let's try, let's just try, okay? Start again, from the beginning.
Okay.
Jacket Chichen. She stole it.
She stole it.
We got lost.
I think we can.
I'm gonna say swap sides. Swap sides. Gets to choose the topic.
No, I don't think it's gonna be.
But think about it firsthand, right? So you may say, the subject matter is, but you've got to think, Peter, you're my hero, I really worship you, you're going to help me get to realizations, but I'm going to smash you in the process with love.
Always do that.
Yeah. And then you're buying time now, you're thinking, what the hell am I going to try and prove to him? A good argument is almost believable. A good, broken, logical statement is almost believable, okay? Like, consider the deep Chechen, consider wisdom, or let's go, Tongpanyin, emptiness. Consider emptiness. It is a working thing because it gets me to enlightenment.
No.
No, you say.
What?
You say
No.
cheer or you say the. You don't get to say no.
Why?
But what I'm going to say is, if it was hard to restrict yourself to those answers, you don't have to. Try and restrict your answers though. Don't give them too many reasons to know all your secrets, right? You, example, Cliff, you know, for you at least, I'm not sure if you're correct though. You, I think you might be. So, I'm not sure that he's right, okay? Because it's not what I said, and he often tries to correct me, but he's not always right, right? But he's sure of that, right? Because he said it so quick. Don't give me all your secrets, right? You know why you said that.
Yeah.
It's my job to draw it out of you, and it's your job to force me into your decision, okay? So you, the sitter, have more power than you think, okay? Way more power than you think. So he knows what he means by no. So if you're the attacker, try and get a slightly correct statement, you know? Consider changing things. They are changing things because they are part of all existing things. Is that a word? They are changing things.
And you just said yes.
I know, I did, right?
Well, I mean,
and you can go, duh, and then you lost. Yeah.
That's not the reason.
No. Try and think of something. Consider karma. So the D was obvious, right? Consider emptiness. It's a working thing because it gets you to enlightenment. That's an easy one, okay? There's something slightly wrong with that, right? Which once you understand all existing things, you know what's wrong with that, okay? Consider, this is a good one. You all had a problem with a person. Consider a person. They are physical because they are part of changing things, okay? Meaning, changing things are physical, right? We know because we saw the diagram. That's another one.
Wait, consider
a person. Go on, consider Peter. He is.
No, I'm saying why.
He is a changing thing. No. Consider a person. He is a changing thing because he is physical. because he's got a body.
But I mean, I'm just.
Is the body a changing thing or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so you agree with me,
Yeah.
right? Okay, but you might be wrong. Consider Peter, the person Peter.
Yeah.
He is a changing thing because he has a body.
Okay.
So we're debating about this.
Is the reason correct? Is a body a changing thing?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm right.
But Peter is
No,
not.
Not just.
Great. He is one of that third category that Cliff told us, right?
Yeah.
So see if you can find your way to that answer. See if you, the sitter, can force them to that answer. You see what we're doing?
So I'm asserting that he's a.
You're asserting that he is
Peter the body.
a changing thing. It's correct. He's a changing thing, right? But your assertion is wrong.
You just come
Right?
believe with
Right?
belief.
So you would say which of these?
First one is an,
Kiabamachunga, right? So then you
is
can,
an okay, but assertion.
you follow? Or you could do the deep. You can go consider emptiness. It's a changing thing because it functions to get you to enlightenment, and all functioning things are changing things.
But is it a?
You do it there.
You do it.
Okay, so the reason you're struggling is because I didn't show you everything about a debate. You're just playing here, so it makes no difference whether you get it right, you get it wrong. There's all these relationships we have to figure out. What works, what doesn't work. But for now, just play with it. Have fun. Answer whatever the hell you want. There's no rules. Okay? Go for it.
Yeah, bring it on.
Choose a topic. Scare them.
Okay.
You have to say,
The law of.
I think I'm supposed to be able to
No, reasons are You don't see that? That's a great Did he win or did he lose?
We're going down.
Okay, get him, Jacqueline. Come on, finish it together. You'll be happy. Sit down. That's fun to watch you do that. Look how engaged they are. They're like, you're stupid, I win. Bandung is like the sweetest debater. He's like, oh, do you think...
You don't know him at home.
He's like, he's so gentle with her. He's like, okay, who had fun? Great, I had fun watching you. So
Especially when you said there were no rules.
there's no rules, okay? No, because we're going to eventually get to understand these rules. But the point of it is not to get there. The point is to watch your own assertions, your own reasons, and the way they relate to each other. The next time we do this, which might be 2 classes from now, because next class is going to be this class, we're going to look at the relationships, why a reason works or doesn't work. I haven't told you why we would say Kiaba Machung, etc. There are relationships between an assertion and a reason that work or don't work. And we can figure those out logically, we can think about them, and then once you learn them, you get instant access to them in debating. I didn't tell you those. All I had you do is figure out in your mind, going, I don't have an argument now. Like, who found themselves cornered? And I'm like, I can't argue, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's the limit. You want to get there. So, for example, I witnessed one between Jacqueline and Cliff, and they sort of ended up in a stalemate where they didn't know where to go. That's good. Sometimes you get that way into an argument. You're like, I don't have any more capacity of thinking on how to dig deeper here, and I can't bring you to it. So either you start a new argument, like, okay, let's consider the fish, and they fly because they have fins, you know? And you're like, fins? That's not right. Yeah. So then you can start checking your own thinking against these reasons. Mm-hmm.
So in practicing, you almost want to assert something that you know is kind of wrong just to practice getting to the correct?
Correct. But you've got to make it sound right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my favorite is what I told that Cliff jumped straight away. He's like, because if you remember the chart of changing and unchanging things, emptiness sits in an unchanging thing, right? It is stable. It is not a changing thing, right? However, a synonym for changing thing was nyopo, which is a functioning thing, yeah? And I say, look, consider emptiness. It is a functioning thing, meaning it's a changing thing. But it's not, we know it's not, right? In the chart of all existing things.
So it can't function.
It can't function to do anything,
Yeah.
but it sounds right? Because I keep saying, if you see emptiness directly, if you have a direct experience of the ultimate nature of reality, you will become enlightened, right? Is that the cause of enlightenment? Is that the thing that flips you over to enlightenment? Or give me a reason why that's not. Why not?
Because it's not a functioning thing.
Just give me something. No, that's a circular argument. That you can do that. But give me a practical reason, a reason we might
Because
know.
the direct perception of emptiness is not emptiness itself. Right.
Oh, that's a really good answer. Why?
Because it's not a
Because
self-existent
perception that
entity.
is a changing thing and can function.
Sorry?
the perception of emptiness
Oh.
is a changing thing,
Nice.
and thus can function to
That's
bring you
good.
to enlightenment.
Another answer might be, which is where I was going to hope you'd take me, is if emptiness got you to enlightenment, was the cause of enlightenment, everybody that's seen emptiness must be enlightened instantly, and therefore the fourth path of habituation doesn't exist, because you don't need to go through the path of habituation. You'd be instantly enlightened after coming out of the direct perception of emptiness. We know that's not the case from study. So you can quote scripture if you're solid about it, or you can use logical arguments like we've been doing here. Okay? The point is not who wins. The point is, did you find out some limit that you now need to go and investigate? So with those chunky bits of ahas you just had, you sit your ass on a cushion and you go deep into your mind like, damn, I'm not sure about that. So you go and you get sure about it in meditation. You go and watch where your mind takes you. And you have certainty when you come out of that, because you get more certainty out of here. Does that make sense? Yeah? So, we did this one, right? Sky Chichen is the known part. We agreed on sky, right? So I got him on sky. The way to make a good argument is make it doubt-worthy, right? I'm going to make him doubt that it's blue, because he's so sure it's blue, right? Because whatever I gave him, right? So consider the sky, it's blue, because every child paints it blue, whatever the answer is. So, sky, I'm not going to teach this tonight, which is supposed to be at the class, which is a shame because it's a really good subject, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, okay? So, they say this subject is the door to emptiness. There are 4 schools of ancient India. These 4 were taught by Lord Buddha. The school we're in, the text we're studying, the ideas we're studying is the second school, the school of logic. The first one is the Abhidharma school. Right? And they have a meaning for these core concepts called emptiness, the stuff we deny, the things that emptiness is empty of, and what dependent origination means, what arising is, what causality is, right? Each of these schools have 4 different answers. The first school is the Abhidharmas. It's a Hinayana system. The Buddha taught it. It works, okay? The second one is the logic school, the Sautantrika, the school we're studying right now, where this logic texts come from, okay? And I'll give you the heads up, which I already did, is in this school, ultimate reality is a functioning thing, yeah? But in the chart I just gave you, if you put a Majjhimika point of view, which is the top of the 4th school, yeah, or the 4th school, that's not ultimate reality for a Majjhimikist, okay? So, quick summary for the 4 schools. What is dependent origination for Majjhimika? Things arise, they originate in dependence on what? What do they depend on to arise?
Label.
From a Majjhimika Prasangika point of view.
Label.
Huh?
Our perception.
Our perceptions, right? So we keep saying that name and label.
Label.
Yeah? So things are empty. This object is empty of being flower from its own side. Yeah? It, by itself, without anyone watching, does not have a nature of flower. Yeah? But when I look at it, it's flower. Right? Where does that come from? From something, some energy in my mind is observing this detail. Yeah? It's saying, no, I don't think about it. I see it as flower. A bee comes over here and it looks at the same object, the same star type out there, and it does not have the same perception I have. Forced upon its little consciousness is food, nectar. Same object. That stuff over there can be, if all the humans on the planet died, that is only food. If there's only bees. Yeah? If there's no other beings but humans, that thing is flower. Right? It's dependent on the perceiver. Right? Which is forced to have a perception. You don't choose flower. Yeah? That's the highest view, dependent origination. A step below that, another Madhyamika school says, well, things are dependently arising dependent on their parts. Things arise dependent on their parts, and there's a reason for saying that. And then on causes and conditions before that. And on, that's it, causes and conditions, parts, or perception. Okay? The 4 schools that have those 3 things.
An object of perception. Well, it'll be parts.
Parts.
When you mean perception, you mean karma, right?
Yeah, yeah. Those things we've just talked about, why a certain thing is a certain thing, is called dependent origination, right? They arise in dependence or something. This next subject, which is called Chi Jedra, okay? Chi Jedra, will force your mind to understand how that occurred. And if you understand how that occurred, how dependent origination happens in the highest school, if you, not the Sautantrika school, if you see it from the Madhyamika Prasangika school, you have the ticket to see emptiness directly. It's called the key to Madhyamika. It's called the door to emptiness, because the goal of all this study, the goal of all this practice, is to have a perception that you, the entity which we talked about when we started this class, has a valid, real experience of being a Buddha. What does that mean? That means you see yourself perfectly, involuntarily, is that what it is? Involuntarily, uncontrollably, instantly, you have a perception that you are projecting your being to every single corner of existence. Okay? It's not something you sit there and go, I want to send my ass to Pluto. No. It's like an impulse that's been habituated so much, it is what you are. Yeah? You appear in every realm. Past, present, and future in every form. Right? That's Humdru. That sitting there as an enlightened being, appearing to all beings, is that, okay? That can only happen if you're a Buddha, an awakened being, yeah? The same consciousness that you've got right now can be perceiving itself in a state of Buddhahood. But how do you get there? You need to have achieved nirvana, been freed from samsara, the cycles of suffering, yeah? What's the longer definition of nirvana? It says, the permanent cessation of all mental afflictions due to the individual analysis of blah, 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 which means direct perception of emptiness, right? So you can't reach nirvana without the direct perception of emptiness. And you can't reach the direct perception of emptiness until you've reached Chuchok, which means highest object. Okay? What is highest object referring to? It is the peak of the second path. Out of the 5 paths.
Oh, 3 paths?
Out of the 5 paths, it's the peak of the second path. Before you flip into the direct perception of emptiness, you reach Chuchok, which is the ultimate object. What is that? The story goes like this from Geshe Michael. Okay, it is the moment that you are, he says, maybe making a cup of tea for your Lama. Yeah? You've been studying this topic of Chi Jedra, how your mind creates these mental images. How is it that your mind is forced to have these perceptions and not some other perception? Yeah? You've been studying, you've been wrecking your head, you've been debating with people, you've been building up your spiritual goodness, not just your intellectual goodness, right? You need more than just intellect. You need sort of spiritual intelligence here. You've been building up that power, and you've been meditating, you've been serving, you've got all the qualified things, and then you're watching the pot boil on the stove, he says, and you have a moment where you catch your mind, create the mental picture of pot based on the data that's out there. the silver round thing, the dark handle-looking thing, knobby thing, the bubbling things that you call boiling water, silver kettle, and black handle, that shape that your eye catches, mixed in with the bubbling sound that your ear, the vibrations, right? Eyeball can never see pot. Eyeball can never see a bubble. Eyeball just catches data. Ear can never catch boiling water. If it happens like that, of course you're seeing a kettle with boiling water in your mind, right? Well, Churchock, the highest, the peak moment, highest object is when you catch your mind, it feels like a disassociation. You observe that that data is not the perfect picture of a pot that you see in your mind. You catch yourself, you catch your mind doing that. From that data, my goodness, I just saw pot created, a perfect pot, a functioning pot, a stable pot, a self-existent pot. I just saw that occur. Where the hell from? From there? No, from there. Because if at that moment a cockroach walked across the stove and it flipped over the lid into this, what you call boiling water, into the bubbles, that same data is forced to be perceived as the floor of a burning hell for that creature. So what the hell is it? Pot or burning hell? Where did it come from for it? The same data, okay? So Churchock is the peak moment where you catch yourself. You catch how your mind does that. How do you catch yourself? You've been doing all the preliminary work. You've been debating with people. You've been arguing, catching your mind in corners and building up those intelligences I talked about. You've been meditating as best as you can. You don't have to be a bloody perfect meditator. Meditation is an honest, beautiful observation in a relaxed state of the deepest part of your awareness, right? It's not controlling the hell out of what you're doing. Okay, but you've been doing that. You've been serving beings around you with the correct motivation. You've got this goodness, this kelwa, yeah, in you. And based on that, if you've got all the right things, you will have a peak moment where you see the deconstruction of that reality. Go, oh my goodness, there was never a pot like the one I thought I saw. My senses could only ever catch a tiny glimpse, and then something is forcing all this detail to come together and say, pot, boiling water. Just like the roach is saying, burning hell. It can't possibly be that. That's also coming from it. Where did this energy label that from? That's inside you. That's something inside you coming out, projecting onto empty data. Yeah? Data that does not have that nature of pot or that nature of boiling water. Chi Jedra has 3 ways of being explained, which I'll cover next week. But the middle one looks at mental imaging. How is it that your mind, grabbing that data, is forced to have that experience and not that experience? And when you study this subject, which I'm also going to add 4 little videos in the Facebook page for our group that you're welcome to look at before next class, because it'll give you some depth. You'll begin your beautiful investigation as to how your mind does this trick. It's an impossible trick. It can't possibly be a functioning pot out there from its own side. But can it be a functioning pot for you, validly? Of course. That's all you're ever going to use to make tea. That stuff. Now, if it could be a burning hell, and if it could be a pot at the same time, can it not be the same data? Can it not be forced to be for you the elixir of wisdom that cures all things? If the same data produced 2 states, can it not proceed as a 3rd state? You just got to figure out how, right? So we'll get into that topic. I'm glad we got to debate, yeah? I'll get the cord now and we'll do 3-minute meditation thing, yeah? And then we'll do these topics next week, which are heavy. If you haven't joined the Facebook group for ACI, Asian Classics Institute, at the Three Jewels, please join, because that's the only way we're going to communicate these classes from now on. We're not doing events anymore. Maybe for the first class each course. ACI at the ampersand, the Three Jewels. Let's see if that works. Yeah, so can we turn the lights down? And some of you have seen this before, but this might give you something to meditate on, okay? Enjoy. It's not long. Oh, not on yet?
Okay.
Here we go. Lee, you don't want to miss it. Lee. It's not on? Yeah.
There it is. It's you.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Is your sound up?
Yeah, as high as possible. That's it.
What there is you.
Can you turn all the lights on?
That should be absolutely obvious, but it is not obvious at all. That should be the simplest thing in the world. That you, the I, is what has always been going on, and always will go on forever and ever. But we have been bamboozled by religions, by politicians, by fathers and mothers, by all sorts of people to tell us you're not it. And we believed it. So, do you see now why, if I put it to you in this very negative way, you can't do anything to change yourselves, to become better, to become happier, to become more serene, to become mystics or anything. If I say you can't do a damn thing, can you understand this negative statement in a positive way? What I'm really saying is that you don't need to. Because if you see yourselves in the correct way, you are all as much the extraordinary phenomena of nature as, say, trees, clouds, the patterns of running water, the shape of fire, the arrangement of the stars, the form of the galaxy. You are all just like that. There's nothing wrong with you at all. Except that I have to add this little flip. You have, anyway, you do think there's something wrong. See? But there's no question, you do. We all object to ourselves in various ways. And I'm going to add, there's nothing wrong with that either. Because that's part of the flow. That's part of what is going on. That's part of what we do. So I don't, you see, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to deliver you from the sense of guilt. Because I'm going to teach you that you needn't feel guilty because you feel guilty. Because you feel guilty. In fact, someone put a match on you and you feel hot. So they taught you as a child to feel guilty, and you feel guilty. You say, well, then if someone comes along and says, well, you shouldn't. It's not the point. I'm going to say, not that you shouldn't, but that you do it, don't worry about it. And if you want to say further, but I'm not worrying about it, I'm going to say to you, okay, worry about it. This is a principle called in Japanese Judo. Wing the gentle way. Hold on with it. simply watch what's going on. Like, say, somebody plays music. You listen. You just follow those sounds. And eventually, you understand the point of the music. The point cannot be explained in words, because music is not words. But after a while, in listening to any music, you will understand the point of it. And that point will be the music itself.
So go home, dedicate it in your mind as you go out, and take refuge in your mind as you go out. And meditate and think about all the wonderful things you did today to try and dig a little deeper into what creates your world, what is forcing us to have this experience validly. And I hope you come to some beautiful experience inside. Bring it next week and we'll debate it. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, my pleasure. Sorry we didn't get to it, but it was fun to see you debating.
So the quizzes?
I'll take the quizzes, all of them. Yeah. Huh? Oh. Does somebody want a broken mala that they want to string themselves? The string came out and you're welcome to have it.
We have 2 more, yeah.
Yeah? Broken?
No, they're
Okay. And yeah, if you, thank you. That string if they want it. Do you have that string? No. I don't have it here, but I can bring it next week. I have it.
Not this one and tie it up?
Yeah.
Strings in here.
I don't know, is it?
It is, yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah,
should be
cool.
fine.
Yeah.
You
Cool.
might be able to fix it just with
That's a good, I have a good practice for that.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. Please hang around and get enlightened together. Yay. Thank you. Oh, yeah, don't forget, if you want to leave a little thank you to the Three Jewels for the mala, feel free, donation bowl or in the mala bowl. And if not, that's cool too.